I have time to tell you a little bit more about my grandmother, since you said 11:15, right? Okay, cool. Well, my Nana grew up in Sorrento, Italy. Anybody ever heard of Take Me Back to Sorrento? She grew up in Sorrento, Italy, and when things got really tough in Italy, the whole family decided to immigrate to the United States of America. They got on the big ship, took that long trip across the Atlantic Ocean, and then they pulled into the New York harbor, and there was the Statue of Liberty raising her torch. Bring me your tired and huddled masses yearning to be free. And Nana was one of those, and they got off the ship, and now she had never went back to school after that. She quit school in about 4th grade, but she went to school of hard knocks, and she learned a lot. God had gifted her with the gift of finance, and she learned how to make money, and she learned how to make real estate investments and play the stock market. She was an incredible woman, a great cook, and a beautiful young Italian girl. She caught the eye of my grandfather, Saul Polito, and when they got married, they decided to move out to California because that's when the motion picture industry was just really taking off. Saul Polito's first job was to rewind the film reels by hand. He said, I want to be behind the camera. So he started out at Warner Brothers Studios on the bottom of the ladder and started working his way up. And he became a very famous cinematographer. I'm going to tell you a few of the movies my grandfather filmed. Tell me if you've seen them. How many of you remember Sergeant York starring Gary Cooper? The Farmer's Daughter starring Ingrid Bergman. How about The Adventures of Robin Hood starring Errol Flynn? My grandfather was behind the camera in all those famous, he did all the old Ronald Reagan flicks. He was actually a pretty famous guy. But he died when I was 6 years old. The thing I really remember about my grandfather was he had this cute little mustache on his upper lip. And I'd sit on his lap and I'd stroke his mustache with my finger and he'd bite my finger. And to this day, when my grandkids sit on my lap and they start putting their hands on my face, I want to bite their finger. It must be something I got from my grandfather. But anyway, what I really remember is about my grandmother, and she was an amazing Italian woman. She was the matriarch of our family. Even though she only had 2 sons, my dad and Uncle Gene, she ended up with 18 grandchildren, because my mom and dad had 9 children, and Aunt Lucille and Uncle Gene had 9 children. I told you we were a good Italian Catholic family. And Nana was a very shrewd judge of character, and she used to give everybody nicknames. She called me Firecracker. Can't imagine why. She called my brother Dave Cowboy. And I remember when my cousin Mary Frances brought home her boyfriend to a family party. Mary Frances was serious about this guy, and she was a little worried, because Nana would get these first impressions of people. And if Nana liked your boyfriend, the sun shines everywhere. Everything's great. But if Nana looked at your boyfriend, she just thought he was not good enough for her granddaughter, you might as well break up with him, because Nana could make your life miserable with one look. So when Steve Oslin, this Danish boy, comes into the family, Mary Frances introduces him to Nana, and Nana looks at him, she goes, "Oh, Mary Frances, he's my Danish pastry." And from that point on, Steve was known as Danish pastry, because when Nana gave you a nickname, it stuck. Well, in 1972, I met the Lord as my Savior, and I also met the man that I was going to marry, Tim Carpenter. Now, Tim was from a very different culture than I was. He was a WASP. Does anybody know what a WASP is? White, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, and here I'm this little Italian hippie girl, and we're very, very different. And so I was really afraid that Nana would not like him, because he was different. He was just, from a whole different kind of lifestyle and culture and everything. You ever seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? It's kind of like what I felt like, right? So anyway, I'm praying really hard, and I'm saying I'm not going to bring Tim to a family party. It's just too risky. I'm going to introduce him to Nana one-on-one, because I thought that might be a more wise choice. So one day we decided to drive up to Hollywood. Now Nana and Pop had built a house overlooking the Sunset Strip and all the twinkling lights of Hollywood. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. And they lived on the same street as Jack LaLanne. How many of you remember Jack LaLanne? Remember the exercise guy? Used to be on TV. So anyway, we're driving up the outpost, and I'm praying all the way up. Oh, dear God, please let Nana like Tim, because I knew the first impression was everything was do or die. And I'm praying really hard all the way up. And we go right by Jack LaLanne's house. It was a really neat neighborhood. And finally, we pull into her driveway, and she's out there snipping her herbs for her sauce, the Italian basil and the parsley, and she looks up, and she sees us getting out of the car. She does this little Italian grandmother shuffle up to the car, and then she stands by the car, and Tim gets out of the car, and he's 6'4", and she's 4'8", and she looks at him, and she goes, "Oh, Kate, he's my all-American boy." I go, "Yes, she likes him." And then she goes, "How do I hug him?" So Tim knelt down, and Nana wrapped her arms around him, gave him a big hug, and from that point on, Tim could do no wrong. He had passed the Nana's test. Well, fast forward the story to 1973, August 31st, the night before we got married. Now, because of the Protestant Catholic thing, we got married in the Methodist church in Michigan. So Nana and my mom and dad and my sister flew out to Michigan for the wedding, and we were all staying in the Holiday Inn the night before the wedding. And we were all nervous, you see, because even though we had 9 children in my family, and I'm the 5th child, I was the first one to get married, and I was breaking all the rules, How many of you raised your kids in the 70s? That was really hard, wasn't it? All the long hair and the hippies and stuff. That was my life, And so anyway, the night before the wedding, we all went out to eat together, my family, and then we're at the Holiday Inn, we're walking down to our rooms, and I was feeling kind of nervous, a little bit on edge. My mom and dad, we'd never been through this before. We were just like breaking all new ground, and Nana she was really, to get her on the plane was a big thing, and then she was just really into this. So we're walking down the hallway back to our rooms, and Nana looks at me like she grabs my arm, and she says, "Kate," she says, "come with me. You and we must talk." I said, "Oh boy, what's this? Night before the wedding. I wonder if she's gonna tell me about the birds and the bees, or maybe she's gonna give me some really important Italian grandmother advice about marriage." I had no idea, but when Nana looked at you like that, you paid attention. So she grabs my arm even tighter. She takes me off into a little alcove where nobody else could hear. She looks me in the eye. She says, "Kate, now you listen to me. You listen well." She says, "Tim is tall. You are short." She says, "Cut your toenails. You'll scratch up his legs." Oh, Nana cooked pasta and Nana broiled steak, made Easter pastita and Christmas fruit cake. Nana grew parsley to go with gnocchi. Nana loved family and Nana loved me. Oh, Nana had nicknames for all of us kids. Could yell Cacadona when she blew her lid. Firecracker, cowboy, and Danish pastry. Nana loved family and Nana loved me. Nana, Nana, we want you to know. Nana, Nana, we all miss you so. Nana gave counsel that never would fail. You girls must wear lipstick and cut your toenails. And if you lose something, just ask Anthony. Nana loved family and Nana loved me. Oh, now she's in heaven with Jesus and Pop. She can't go to market, she can't check her stocks. But if God let her worry, she'd do it because Nana loved family and Nana loved us. Nana loved family and Nana loved us. Oh, Nana, Nana, we want you to know. Nana, Nana, we all miss you so. Oh, Nana cooked pasta and Nana broiled steak, made Easter pastita and Christmas fruit cake. Nana grew parsley to go with gnocchi. Nana loved family and Nana loved me. Nana loved family and Nana loved me. Nana loved family